So you see psychics, right? Very, very interesting. You see, it always fascinated me as an individual that if psychics can predict the future accurately, and I've been to a few psychics that have been like world-renowned psychics that have been able to predict certain things in my life, that came true. It started to make me question, is destiny a fixed thing? You see, if it's fixed, can you change it? And if you can change it, how do you know you changed it? You see? So this question is a very debatable one because I've searched and searched and searched and searched, and eventually I've come to the decision that, you see, destiny is something that is, to some extent, it is fixed. There's nothing you can do about it to change your destiny. That's impossible. You see, it's the illusion that we have that makes us think that we can change the destiny. You see, I'll tell you why this is. I'll go a little bit deeper into this because every time I talk about these things, I always get people that argue and say, no, you can, at every moment like this, if I show them two options, at every moment, they can choose. Right? So this is the argument. And I've, there's no person that I have come across that you can say that can change what I have found. Because what I found is the truth. There's nothing that can change it. It doesn't matter what you believe, what you disbelieve. This is the truth of what I found, and it remains constant. And I've checked with other people that are well known on the internet about what they had to say about destiny and stuff. And this is like more on the spiritual side of people. And they sort of seem to have the same understanding. So I said, okay, it makes sense. Besides my own finding and besides my own understanding, they're also sort of saying the same thing because you tend to look for some form of validation as well, right? For people who have lived longer than you. You want to, because they've been exploring this much longer. So you tend to look at validation and look up to these people as well. So you see with destiny, right? When it comes to decision making, you see, you can't make a new decision. That's impossible. You cannot make a decision that is completely new, brand new, because every decision that you make is conditioned. You see, we are all conditioned human beings. Now, how are we conditioned? That's your own thing. You see, we may be conditioned by our parents of how they've lived. You heard this saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There's a reason why that is there, because this is the type of conditioning. You see, the type of conditioning is the thinking. You see, if you're able to change the thinking, if you're able to become aware enough and conscious enough, right, then you have a chance of changing the pattern, right? So now you might be thinking, okay, maybe you can change the destiny, right? You see, that thinking itself is a conditioning in its own way. Because why would you want to change it? You see, the question rises, why do you want to change it? But you want to change it because you want to find out if you can change it. So, even the question of destiny itself, that is something that is, to say, is it fixed? Right? Now see, I'm jumping all over the place here because I'm trying to dig into this whole thing with you guys. I'm looking at this fresh, new, from a new perspective. So we must find out, and this is the one most important question that we must find out. What is our destiny? Right? What is our destiny? Now, how do we find out what our destiny is? What tools are there that we have? Right? And when we look for these tools, we must also be aware that we are not, when we're using these tools, not creating and believing what these tools that we are using and what these tools are telling us is our reality. And then in fact, we are actually manifesting that, right? We're actually manifesting that reality. So what is one of the tools that you can use? You can use psychics. Now, this is the problem with people when I talk about psychics. And I want you all to listen very, very careful about this and make a note about this when you actually explore this. You need to find something called your psychic. Now, I created this thing called your psychic. Now, what I mean by this, your psychic, is this. If you've had a past life with a psychic, if you've had some interactions with psychics in a past life, you spent a lot of time with them, you will find them again, right? You will find them again in this lifetime. There's no question about it. When I'm also speaking about your psychic, the reason why I'm saying this is because those people will be the most accurate for you. You see, I can recommend you some psychics to go to. Those psychics may not be accurate for you, and then you'll just disregard the whole thing. You need to dig and find who are the psychics that are accurate for you. See, when I started searching into this thing, it shocked me because the things that these psychics were saying was they didn't know any information about me. There's no information on the internet about me, nothing at that point. Absolutely nothing. So they don't have any information to read me or read what my life was like. You see, they're very accurate in telling your past life, right? So I went through, I think, over 100 psychics. Now, I went through psychics on world-renowned psychics. I went to psychics free on YouTube. And I went to psychics in person. And what I got from all of this was that the ones that are free on YouTube were actually more accurate than the ones that actually went in person, right? Well, some of the few ones that I went to in person, I had a one-on-one read. That's what I mean by in person, right? And the ones that I actually did meet them in actual 3D reality, those ones were also accurate, but they were like about 1 out of the 3 people that I've met that were psychics that do this for a living. That one was not that accurate, well known locally where I am from. And that psychic that's local, it's very accurate from all the other people that went to the specific psychic. So that's why I tell you, you have to find your own psychic. You have to find that psychic that can read everything about you and it's accurate. So the best source, I would say, you go to YouTube. Now, be careful when you do this. When you go to tarot videos and stuff on YouTube, be careful about this. It can trap you and it can enslave you in such a way that it's very hard to come out of it because it can get very addictive. Right? You got to be very careful of this. You don't want to get sucked into that trap, because you'll end up watching one video after the other video after the other video, and next minute you find out that you watched like 500 videos all in a row. Now, I spent 12 hours with psychics for 6 months straight in a row. 6 months, 12 hours every day I spent with psychics. So I spent so much of time with psychics that, I managed to figure out so many different things. I managed to put all the puzzle pieces together as to what is my purpose of living here? Why am I here? Why did this happen? Why? All the questions I want to know. All the psychics had everything. But I managed to take, you can say, about 100 psychics, and I managed to funnel them down to, let me do a quick math here. 1, 2 psychics that are very accurate. They say something's going to happen, it happens. There's no question about it. It happens. It definitely happens. There's another one that's just a 3. And 4 and 5. Five psychics. I think it's about 6, right? But 2 of them, I can bet my life on it because I know that will happen. If they say that will happen, that will happen. You see, there's something in life that are fated. You can't avoid it. Like, for instance, if you got married, let's say, for instance, if you got married to somebody in a past life, in this lifetime, when you meet them again, you will get married to them again. That's how it works. If a certain person was a family relative to you in a past life, guess what's going to happen? You will have a same relationship in the lifetime again. Maybe the roles may be switched, but they will still be around. So, I even did this experiment where I asked them, the family members, to click on the readings and stuff. And click on the readings to find out what do the psychics say about me. And this is just random on the internet. And the psychics were pretty damn accurate. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty damn accurate. And you see, this is the thing about it. You gotta go, it's a very intuitive dimension. You see, psychics is all about the upper chakras. Now, if you're a person that is, you focus on your survivability, your job, and you're not focused on spirituality, then psychics is not a good place for you to go. Psychics for people that have sort of lived life well and they want to explore something else deeper. But it doesn't mean that you can't explore all of these things. I'm just saying that these things are not something that one should go into unless you need that guidance. Now, how you need that guidance and all, that's a different story. So, coming back to the question about the free will kind of a thing. You see, I went through so much of psychics that to some extent I know that there is destiny, and that destiny is fixed because I went through so much of psychics. I know that that destiny is a real thing. And destiny is something called karma. Karma is your past. What happened in your past will play out again. The question is, you see, when you look at it from this perspective, you see it from this perspective where when you're living your life through your first person view, which means through your eyes, in your body, in your physical body, when you're looking through life, this life that you're looking through, you are seeing it for the first time, right? You have no memory of your past life, right? So you think you're living a fresh life, and then everything that you do and everything that happens to you, you think it's new. You think it's brand new. You see? So how can one, because there's nothing you can do about it. You see, what's meant to happen will happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So the question you must ask yourself is, this is the most important and valuable question. How do I become free from this karma? You see, you have to go through it. There's no way you can take a U-turn, or you can go around it, or you can beat the bush. You cannot. It's impossible. If you try to do that, you see, I've done that many times where I knew about certain things that were going to happen and I tried to avoid it, and I went through immense amount of suffering because I tried to change the script. You can't change the script here. The script is set. But if you become aware, you see, that's why I tell you, if you go to so many psychics, if you spend that amount of time, dedicated time, 12 hours every day for 6 months, without fail, no breaks, no Sunday or Saturday breaks, you go straight 6 months, 12 hours every day with psychics. Then you start to figure out this whole entire thing of how it works. Then once you start to see how it actually works, then naturally the ego wants to change. When the ego wants to change, then there's suffering. So you can't change it. But what you can do is you can become free from the karma. So I teach something called manifestation class. In my manifestation class, I teach how to become free from your karma that you have. You see, that's the first thing that I teach. I teach you how to become free from your karma. Because you can't really change your karma if you don't know what your karma is. Now, instead of diving deep into this and getting lost into this topic, which is kind of a pointless discussion, what I would say is, what I teach is, you see, when you are aware, when you become fully aware, you start to watch things as like how you watch a movie. So imagine you put on a movie through a DVD or whatever, and you're sitting there and you're watching this movie play out. That's exactly how you can become free from it, but you're watching your life play out. You see, it's very hard. You see, one person that I know of who has done this kind of thing, and you gotta have a different kind of way of living like this, because it's very difficult to go against the flow of life. You see, you see, it's not smart. You're not smart enough to challenge the flow of life, because the flow of life is much stronger than you. It's much more powerful than you. So this flow of life, the best thing is to learn how to sail it, not go against the current. Learn how to sail it, because if you learn how to sail it, then you will enjoy it. You see, nothing bad can happen to you. You just got to learn how to sail. And in that manifestation course, I teach you how to sail this. You see, when you learn to sail the wave, then you know which wave to ride and how to ride that wave. And once you know how to ride the wave, then life becomes a play. You see, the person I'm talking about is, you see, Krishna. Krishna in the Hindu culture, he knew exactly how he was going to die. You see, to know how you're going to die and still walk through that damn thing and still die like that, that takes something else. Not everyone can do that. If you find out how you're going to die, don't ever go to a tarot reading to find out how you're going to die. Now, I explored this thing to find out how I would die because I wanted to know. Now, when I explored this, you see, I was shown certain things. This is not a tarot exploration. This is a, you can ask for certain things and you'll be shown certain things, right? But you have to be open to that intelligence for it to show you and tell you exactly certain things. Now, when I was open to this intelligence to find out, how do I die? How does the story end? You see, now to walk through the steps, to take each step. Imagine this. You're taking each step knowing that this is how you're going to die, and you have to walk this journey, you see. So that's why I say, if you explore this thing called psychics, and you explore destiny and free will and stuff, it's best to live in the illusion that you are creating all of this. Because when you find out about it, it doesn't bring any sense of well-being for you. So the only thing, and the only best thing, is that you learn to become conscious. You learn to become aware. Through that awareness, through the consciousness, you learn to sail through life without resistance. You see, an enlightened person is called an NG, which is like a circle. A circle has no resistance. You see? A circle has no resistance. So to learn to walk with no resistance, absolutely no resistance, it takes something else. It builds a certain quality. See, if you walk in this direction, like what I'm telling you, where you go and search and you dig deep and you find, it will make something out of you. Very powerful. It will make something out of you. But is it worth going through that hell? No. it's not really worth going through the hell, because anyway you can't change it. You see, the only thing is you become conscious and you become aware of what you are. And you see, if you move to something called unity consciousness, right? You move to something called unity consciousness, where you have an experience of you are everything. And that is true. You just have a veil that needs to be lifted off. When you have this experience of what you are, who you truly are as a being, that you are omnipresent, then you see this whole thing becomes a game. It doesn't matter finding out about how it ends, because you know it's a game. It's everything is you. You see? So that is the only way to become free. Some people may call it enlightenment and all that stuff, but that is the only way to become free. You see, by digging deep like this, as a consequence, it will push you towards destroying your limitation, destroying the limited self, absolute annihilation of self. You see, it's not a physical damaging, you're not damaging your physical self, but the idea, the ego construct of the self, of what you are, that gets destroyed in the process of finding out the truth. You see, you must be willing to die for these things. You can't be listening to this video and saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, or it makes sense and stuff. To know these things, you must be willing to die to go and find out the truth. Don't believe anything in this video what I'm telling you. Don't believe anything what I say. You see, you must go find out for yourself. When you find out for yourself, that is when there is a change. That is when there's a transformation. When you go and search for the truth. Don't believe anything in life. Don't believe anything what anyone tells you. Go find out for yourself. Go dig deep. Don't take a glass in your hand, scoop up some of the ocean and say there's no whales in it. Don't do that. You're only fooling yourself.